Hey YouTubers, Hangster Reviews here. I'm going to do my Deadpool review. As I start, I'm going to focus more on my comic book films and my Star Wars stuff. So that's the main purpose of the channel now, and from now on for all, my other stuff will be focused... My other stuff will be on my Facebook page, but for now it's all going to be comic book films. So the first comic book film of the year, and that's Deadpool. Straight off the bat, I think this is a really good film. Actually, let me just get off how Deadpool started, of course. This film has been in development for like over 12 years. Okay, 12 years. And at the time, back in 2004, comic films weren't a massive thing till they hit till like The Dark Knight back in 2008, along with the first Iron Man film, of course. And it wasn't till in 2014 when some leak footage came out at Comic-Con, and fans loved it and they greenlighted it, and the film came out 2 years later. And Deadpool's I'm not a huge Deadpool fan. I am a massive comic book fan, but I'm more into the main X-Men, the Spider-Man, Batman and Superman, other superheroes. He's not my kind of superhero. He wouldn't be in my top 10, not even my top 20. But I like how he was invented. He was invented as a one-off thing from Deathstroke, from the superhero, from the DC stuff, and how he was transferred. They gave him a comedy feeling to beyond the fourth wall, talking to the audience, and that was it. But somehow they made a franchise of it, so good for them. Before the film came out, back in 2009, Deadpool, well, a version of Deadpool did come out, and that was X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is, yeah, it's not very good. This is more of a guilty pleasure, but the fan base don't really like this film at all. Yeah, they completely killed the character instantly. They sealed his mouth. They gave him like arm katanas, laser beam eyes. It was really bad. But if you own this on Blu-ray or DVD, I recommend you watch it. The behind the scenes, the producers talking about their version of Deadpool and how it was good to put it in the film. It's so funny. It was like they was up their own asses. So let's start with the good things I like about this film, guys. Straight off the bat, I won't go into much detail. It's only going to be a short video which I will talk about the negatives and positives of the film. Then I want to talk about how this film impacts the comic book film industry. So let's get to the first thing. Ryan Reynolds is fantastic. I thought for a long time I thought he's Hollywood poison. If you've seen him in like films like Green Lantern or R.I.P.D. or Blade Trinity, you know this film's pretty bad. But no, somehow he works in this film, and this is one of his best performance in his movie career, and I hope he gets a bit more reputation, and I hope it goes well for him. But I think he was born to play this role. He is fantastic. It kind of like he's not even acting, kind of like Tony Stark with Robbie Downey Jr. But Ryan Reynolds, fantastic. I think he's like one of God's gifts. The other thing, it's not really a big deal to other people, but I love how they handle Colossus in this film. A completely different version of the X-Men Colossus, how he's a bit more... But this time they captured it so well. I love the accent, the essence of the character, how he was, how he's a bit more softer, how he plays by the rules, and how he tries to give Deadpool a chance. And I just enjoyed that. And at the fight scene at the end when he's fighting the, I can't remember her name, the henchman, but I really enjoyed that scene. And at the scene when he says, "Oh, all you son," that scene when he's fighting it. So it's really good. I loved Colossus in this film. I preferred him here than his other version of Colossus. I do like the one from the X-Men films, of course, but I think this one was really handled well, and I think Colossus is great. The comedy is great, of course. I think the best bits about the comedy was, if you're a die-hard X-Men fan like me, you would understand some of the jokes with some of the, for example, when Deadpool was saying which Professor X, McAvoy or Stewart. I get confused with the timelines. I thought that was pure gold. And what was the other one? Big mansion with 2 people. It's not like the studio can afford another X-Men, and I just love that a lot. And of course the little action figure from the Origins film. I enjoyed that so much, and yeah, it just had so much great comedy. Oh my god, the sex scene in this with they go through the months of the year and the National Women's Day and the what was it, Chinese New Year. Just I think that was hilarious. Moving on, I want to talk about the end credits scene to this with how it pays good tribute to the ever first end credit scene, and it was I can't remember the film Fuller's Day Off. When he's in the dressing gown, he walks in the hallway and says, "Right, it's over, it's over." Then he also gives a little nuggets for Deadpool 2 when he says, "We're gonna have cable," which I really liked, and I felt this was one of the best end credits in. I think this is probably the best end credits that Fox has done. I'm not too sure about it, but I loved it how they pay tribute to the one that started the end credit scene. I mean, it wasn't the first Iron Man film; it was actually way before that with Fuller's Day Off. That was it. Another thing I want to talk about is the marketing. How the marketing was used was great. The posters, so many different kinds of posters, like the Valentine's posters, and just how they used it, and the trailers. I loved how they released a really good trailer on Christmas Day out of the ordinary. You don't release normally wouldn't release trailers on Christmas Day, but somehow they just did it and they managed to go away and it worked so well. And another thing about this is that this film has gotten, the marketing has got more loads, not just Deadpool fans or comic book fans, but like so many other people, like people who are into that comedy, who's into action and stuff. It's not a typical superhero film, of course. Even my sister went to see it, and she's not even a comic book fan. I try to get her anything. I try to get to go to see a superhero film. She tells me to fuck off. But that's I think this marketing was probably the best marketing in a film in ages, and yeah, and I wouldn't talk about the bad stuff now about this. I know there's negatives, but I can't. I would be lying to myself, so I have to say it out. The flashback sequences, it's new, and I like that. It's inventive, but I kind of think when they were going back and forth to the fight scenes on the motorway, I kind of think that kind of shoehorned the story, and I think it was getting really annoying. Like you're going back and forth, and you really wanted to get back into the whole action, even though the half of the origin worked really great, with the first half with the when he meets his love, how he tells about his life, his job, and some great things to it. So that's what I really liked about that. First half, the origin story, yeah. But I just didn't like it, and I really don't like how origin stories do that. I mean, I can do that. You could do like a little set in the middle, then focus on the whole origin story for the next 30 minutes, then focus on the main storyline. But I just didn't like going back and forth. That really got annoying to me, and I really don't like to see that in a comic film or any origin story. That was one of my problems. Now this is the second problem, is that this is my personal opinion, but I think I don't like origin stories that much. There's only a very few I like Batman Begins, but there's some, like the first Iron Man film. I think that's so overrated. I think that's a really good film, but not a great film. I just thought it was getting so boring with the bloody with the marketing, how he's in the cave, how he got out, and how he sets up the suit. That got annoying. So this was one of my problems, how he was in the lab being tested, and that did take a lot of time, and I thought that was kind of a bit of a downfall. I'd rather get back to the action and stuff. But I think probably 40% of the whole origin story got a bit annoying, so that was my downfall to that. But if Deadpool 2 came out, I'm probably going to like that more, because it gets the origin stuff out the way, and they could just focus on the main storyline, which that's my fault. I mean, some people don't like love stories in their comic films. I just don't like origin stories. There's a few ways I can go around that. I mean, I know that Doctor Strange is going to come out in an origin story, but I've never seen an origin story of that, so I look forward to Doctor Strange. Back to the main topic with Deadpool. Another problem I had with it was the villain. I know every comic book it does have a perfect villain. Look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's only Loki, Ultron, and Kingpin. That's the only thing. With this one, with Ajax, he didn't really bring anything new. I didn't like his the way he was used. He was kind of like a main storyline, and you know the plot was Deadpool was trying to find a cure for his mutation. Well, his outside skin. But you know it wasn't going to work out great, and I think they could have come up with a better plot. And yeah, Ajax was just such a really annoying character. I wish they could have gone for something else. But in Deadpool 2, I don't know who's going to be this new villain, but I'm thinking of something like Mr. Sinister. That would be a great idea. But Ajax just didn't go well with me. But comic films never have great villains. I have a few exceptions like the Joker, Loki, Dr. Octopus. So yeah, that was another problem. Some of the jokes in this film, like 30% of the jokes, kind of got like, oh god, that's not fun. It's like, ha ha, whatever. And some of the jokes were kind of like a bit more, I would say, more suited for American audience. Forgive me, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I do think that everybody has different comedies. I mean, if you think about TV shows, you think of a USA show would have focus more on that, and the other UK would focus more on that. I think this kind of felt like more for the American audience, and that is a true thing. So overall, my verdict of this film, there's a lot of things to enjoy with it, and there were some problems that bring me down to it. I'm really looking forward to Deadpool 2. I love Ryan Reynolds. I hope he gets a great reputation. I hope he gets to do other things. I do love the other cast, such as, I can't remember the person who plays Copycat. I can't remember the actress's name, but I loved her since Firefly, and she went on to do Gotham. So yeah, that's my verdict with the characters. If I had to give this out of 10, I'd give it a 7.5. I think this is a really good comic book film. I do think it's a tiny bit overrated, but that's just me, like the first Iron Man film. But there's a lot of things to enjoy with this film, and there's a lot of things that push me back, but that's just the main problem with the origin story. But I saw it twice, so that's a good thing. But I definitely will I pick it on Blu-ray straight away? Not straight away, but I thought this was, for 11 years, this was definitely worthwhile, and I'm really looking forward to Deadpool 2. And maybe, I'm not hoping he'll collide with the main X-Men universe, but I hope they do Easter eggs and do stuff with him. So, moving on to my next topic now, guys. Now, the other topic that's drawn from this film is that, should more comic book films be R-rated? And the answer is no. People said this is a game changer for comic book films. To be R-rated, for example, The Wolverine 3 should be R-rated, The Batman vs Superman should be R-rated, the next Batman film should be R-rated. No. Just no. It wouldn't make any sense at all to do that. Just because Deadpool made 135 million on the opening weekend and is making over 500 million as I speak. This is probably the first R-rated comic book film in 20 years to make financial success. If you think of other R-rated comic book films like Watchmen, I freaking love Watchmen. Watchmen is my third favourite comic book film. The Blade films, Kick-Ass, Dredd. Dredd made no money and it was fantastic. Other things like The Crow, The Sin City. Oh, yeah, I think that's it. And Kingsman. The Kingsman doesn't count, but 1 out of 10 comic book films in 20 years has made financial. So don't go and be like, oh, this is the best. This should be more R-rated comic book films. No, you would not make any money. You'd be drawn to a specific audience. You'll lose all the younger fans to watch this. So no, this should not be a game changer. Enough said. 1 out of 10 in 20 years. Okay, but I will say this though. I think this film proves that you don't need a massive budget to make a great profit out of it. This film only cost 58 million to make. 58 million. That's really nothing compared to other films that makes a significant amount of money from 100 million. But 58 million. Come on, you can't argue with that. With makings over 10 times what it is now. You think about directors and producers, they go to a studio and they ask for like 100 million to make, which is stupid, because how are you going to start from small if they're going to waste 100 million straight away? And that's the big problem to it. I think that's one of the problems of Hollywood today is. And for example, Guillermo del Toro, you know, the guy who's done Pacific Rim, Pan's Labyrinth, the Hellboy films. Listen to this. The reason why he won't make a Hellboy 3 is that none of the studios has given him over 100 million. Why do you need 100 million? Seriously. The first Hellboy film made 160 million from an 80 million budget. So it's kind of doubled how much it is. That's the reason why we won't get a Hellboy 3, unfortunately. And I think the Hellboy films are pretty good. Okay, I will say this. Recently, when Deadpool was released and the good reviews came out, Batman vs Superman from DC has announced that a R-cut extended version will be released on DVD and Blu-ray. That's got nothing to do with Deadpool. Deadpool has nothing to do with this. Just because a film makes an extended version on DVD or Blu-ray with R-rated, with an R rating, doesn't mean it was Deadpool. And that's going to be it from now on. If you think about it, the first Wolverine, when it came out, it was a 12. But when it came out on Blu-ray, it was an extended version for gore and blood. It really didn't really impact the story that much with the R gore, so it's with the R rated, so it was alright. But yeah, Batman, but that's got nothing to do with it. I think there's so much you can do with an R-rated comic film with the right premise, the right characters. I mean, there's only very few. I think the next R-rated comic book film should be Deadpool. That's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else that could lead to it. I don't think Marvel won't, because it's owned by Disney, and the only thing they will get an R-rated if it's going to be on the Netflix series like Jessica Jones or Luke Cage or Iron Fist. Or DC can, but I don't think they'll go for that, because they'll just lose money, and it's best not to start making R-rated films from PG franchises such as the Wolverine PG-13, such as the first two Wolverines were PG-13. Why would the next one be R-rated, which you younger audience can't go and see? That's my problems with people saying this should be an R-rated film. I think that people should learn from this lesson that you don't need a big budget for this, and I think R-rated comic book films shouldn't have big budgets. I really think if you, due to the fact you're working on a smaller audience, it shouldn't work. And that's what I want to say about this whole, it's a game-changing thing, this should be more R-rated comic film. That really pisses me off every time I go on Facebook and people say this should be the next. No, I hate that. But you know, go check. This is it now, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Go check out my my other YouTube videos, and go check out my Facebook page, which is on the link down below. I've got to go now, guys. I've got your back.